Family farms are one of the most important parts of this nation's history and a crucial link in the food production chain, not only in North America, but the world. And if and when this income tax proposal is set forth by President Biden and his colleagues, it may very well turn out to be the most disastrous piece of legislation ever to be introduced in the Senate chambers. Ingrained into every farming family is the thought of passing the farm on to the next generation. If the elimination of Step Up and basis does pass, that dream may very well end. Before we get to the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss anything we post. These are the reasons why changes in capital gains tax will kill family farms. What are capital gains? Capital gains are profits made from the sale of property or an investment. All of us in farming have either lived through the 1980s or listened to our parents or grandparents telling us stories about that chapter in their farming life. Let's say that your family was fortunate enough to keep things together during that time period and actually were able to buy a few pieces of land. This land would have been at a steep discount compared to the prior years. For example, let's say your family bought a quarter for $500 an acre. If you were to sell that property now, it's going to be worth much more than $1 million, even if you didn't do a lot of farming or development. The value of the property will always rise. That's why there is a saying, safe as houses, because the value of property always increases. Even if they were to build an airport next to your land, your family farm value will increase, albeit less and over a longer time. The same applies to other investments, but that's a story for another video. What is Joe Biden's proposed new controversial legislation? Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty. If a farm is sold, the amount of tax that would have to be paid on the increase of value or capital gains has always been 20%. The new capital tax gains will now increase to 39.6%. Biden's proposed tax legislation will do the following as an example. A farmer purchased 180 acres in 1983 for $1,600 per acre for a total value of $288,000. The farm is then inherited by family members in 2021 after the farmer passed away. The value of the land at the time of the death was $8,500 per acre, a total of $1.5 million. Normally, the step-up basis will change to $8,500 per acre at the time of death, and if the farm were sold 5 years later and valued at $9,000 per acre, a capital gains tax would be assessed on the additional $500 per acre. Biden's proposal, on the other hand, would eliminate the step-up basis at the time of death, and when the property sold, the capital gains tax would be assessed on the entire amount. So a difference of about $9,000 to $1,600 per acre at a rate of 39.6%. The total tax amount would come out to be $527,472. Yes, that is exactly what it's going to cost. And yes, you did read that correctly. In addition, Biden has also suggested a provision where the capital gains tax would be assessed at the time of death, and not just at the time of sale for the farmer. Again, the tax would be $527,472. Farmers would be land rich but cash poor. It's like losing part of everything that you'd worked so hard for or all of your life. Is this practice fair? Honestly, I don't believe that it is. Look, don't get me wrong, I understand that there would be increased taxes. Elections have consequences. I think we all expected new and higher taxes with the new administration. In addition to the capital gains tax, there's also state and federal estate taxes. President Biden also wants to decrease the federal exemption by half. That means a deficit, and that means more taxes. What is even heartbreaking to me is just this notion that as a family farmer, you've spent years and years growing on your farm with hopes to pass it on to your family someday. You have poured your sweat, blood, and tears into starting and growing your farm, and knowing that all those hours, all of your emotion, and all the financial stress, and even all the risk that it took to build that farm to what it is today is going to be taken out. Honestly, I'm disappointed that individuals within our government want a larger portion of our farm when we pass. Is this even fair? How is it going to keep the family farm going? The simple answer is that it's not, and this is both a horrible decision for the country and makes me personally sad and angry. The government has no right to take 40% of a farm's value and then give it to people who don't earn fair wages. The American Farm Bureau Federation even supports eliminating the capital gains tax. But until this is possible, the tax rate needs to at least be reduced and assets should be indexed correctly for inflation. Furthermore, the AFBF believes there should be an exclusion for agricultural land that remains in production for farmland farmland preservation easements and development rights for transfers of farm business assets between family members, and for land taken away under eminent domain. Capital gains taxes should not be collected at death, and the ultimate step up on the basis of inherited assets should continue. In short, this practice is not fair because the capital gains tax will be doubled. How can anybody plan accordingly for their future when such a drastic and unexpected change is made to the financial system? Right now, you only pay taxes on inherited property that you sell. The truly disastrous and ugly part of Biden's plan for farmers and basically everybody else is that he's proposing combining the removal of the step-up basis altogether with higher taxes. Quote, an assets unreleased appreciation at transfer, meaning that you're going to be taxed on the virtue of inherited property whether you sell it or not. Imagine trying to even make a profit in the years after the inheritance. Imagine you as the new owner dies and your son or daughter inherited the land. They would have to pay off your debt on top of the new debt that they've now acquired. So why should Americans care? How can any American not care? Look, I get it. Trump had his issues, and that in some cases leading people to vote for Biden out of necessity. But the thing is, this is all going to backfire. We are staring at a situation in the face where the following is going to happen. First of all, farmers will now be forced to sell their land to large farming corporations because to be able to keep the farm means paying these higher taxes at the time of inheritance. Most people are not even going to be able to afford that much. When they can't afford to pay such inflated debts, their accumulated debts increase. And you know what happens next? With the possibility of so many higher debts facing them, farmers are going to be forced to sell their family land, and family farms will begin to become a thing of the past. We'll soon be talking about the bygone era. Big business and corporations, Wall Street, they're going to own and run farms, and we're going to be working for them. Big business is buying up land. And with something like this comes along, one of the easiest ways to tell what's going on is to watch what big business is doing. If land's being bought, then it means something is afoot. It was reported in multiple articles that Bill Gates is the largest owner of farmland in the US. Amazon's Jeff Bezos is apparently also buying up land. Taxing farm families out of business so that way tech magnates can buy it up seems like something that would be unpopular politically. But if that's what Biden wants to do, what's stopping him? The Democrats now have control of the House, they have control of the Senate, and obviously they now have control of the presidency. Many people have turned a blind eye to the destruction that the Biden administration has brought to the country, but because in the eyes of a small few, orange man bad. So we have to get rid of him. Big business will never need to pay these inflated taxes because they will never let anyone inherit the business the way farmers do. And even if they did, they would be able to pay any taxes quite easily. And even on top of that, most of these major corporations don't pay taxes because they find various loopholes in contracts and other cities and countries which pay little to no taxes. So in the end, they aren't affected. This tax will simply change the American landscape from one where people love the land to where corporations exploit the land. A possible new future would maybe look something like this. Farms are industrialized to the extent where the human care factor has been replaced by a machine. Big business still has experts running the lots, but these experts are the farmers who once owned that piece of land. You're now nothing more than an employee, a number, and you can't do what you want when you want because head office has to approve your moves. You're paid a salary, which is not necessarily what you made in your good years. Over-farming can end up leading to a reality where decisions will be made at board meetings, and the cheapest ways will usually win out because big business is all about profit margins. This ends up leading to where the cheapest contracts with the cheapest labor, with the cheapest machine, and the cheapest quality of work are put out there, and it'll end up changing the way that we eat our food and thus create a drastically different course for the health of the nation. These margins are important. I get it. No matter how small they are, a company needs to keep its eyes on margins, so in order to not go into the red, in the end, these board members may destroy or seriously lower the yield of farmland. The farmers who once owned the land will know what actually has to be done to increase yields, but would be powerless to stop them. You'd be forced to watch your farmland go backwards. Of course, the opposite may also be true. The company running the land will know what they're doing, maybe make all the right decisions, and the yields could be high. The board will make a huge profit, pay themselves massive bonuses, and give their low-level worker peanuts. The final thought before we leave. Do you want to be remembered as the person who was part of the end of the family farming in 2021? The global health situation is bad enough, but don't let the family farm way of life go up in flames. You live in a constitutional constitutional republic with a system of democratic checks and balances. So appeal to your representatives to stop the madness. The USA is supposed to be a country of opportunity for all, but Biden's new capital gains tax will change this beautiful landscape forever. Be part of the people who lobbied and marched and protested to stop this bill from going through. This bill will drastically change the distribution of wealth in the US. This is not the way that the founding fathers had envisioned the new world to turn out. They had envisioned a way of life where all Americans benefit. Would they have supported a bill that taxed family farms to death? Probably not, because they loved and farmed this land as well. And anything else, they had believed that taxation without representation was an immoral practice. Benjamin Franklin said, quote, "There seem to be but three ways for a nation to acquire wealth. The first is by war, as the Romans did, in plundering and conquering neighbors. This is robbery. The second is by commerce, which is generally cheating. The third by agriculture, the only honest way, wherein man receives a real increase of the seed thrown into the ground, and a kind of continual miracle, wrought by the hands of God in his favor, as a reward for his innocent life and his virtuous industry." End quote. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. God bless you, and God bless America.